guys, Dez here, popping in with a quick announcement and a little bit of a celebration. April was officially our highest listenership month yet. We're super thrilled. Tammy and I are excited to see the podcast growing and, seeing new listeners come and interact with us. So because of that, to kind of celebrate and to see how we can move our message forward, we're doing something pretty cool for the month of May. We are going to be donating $1 to Project Semicolon. And if you guys don't know what Project Semicolon is, it's pretty simple. It's an organization dedicated to the prevention of suicide. It's no secret that entrepreneurs, people in business with really high stressful jobs tend to be at higher risk for mental health issues. And as we've seen with the number of high profile suicides and drug overdoses, entrepreneurs definitely are not immune. I will say, I'll add that asterisk, that there's no evidence saying that there's a higher risk, but there's not immunity either. So Tammy and I just think that this project, the way that they're doing it, the way that they're opening the conversation and providing good evidence-based resources to, promote mental health and bring awareness to different communities is really exemplary, and we want to support them. And we figured one of the best ways is, cash money. So if you've been looking for an easy way to, do something good, or I don't know, just feel like sharing your thoughts, go to iTunes, leave us a rating, and anything that, like I said, anything that is posted during the month of May will count as $1. So if there's 100 iTunes reviews throughout May, it's going to be $100. If there's 1,000, it'll be $1,000. It's pretty simple. We're not saying give us 5 stars, but if you want to give us 5 stars, that'd be awesome. Really quick, one other piece of information that Tammy and I are very excited to share is we are going to be recording at the 2nd annual Finn Found Her Summit happening May 17th and 18th in Chicago. If you don't know what Finn Found Her is, the goal is to bring together founders and funders in order to create a climate of understanding and success for both sides. They really seek to create a happy, healthy, self-perpetuating ecosystem by helping today's founder succeed and become tomorrow's funders. So if you are in the startup phase of your business, this event is for you. And if you're really interested and you're like, I'm not in Chicago, you can attend virtually, which is cool too. If you want more information about the event, go to finfoundher.com. Use code FINFOUNDHER, all caps, FINFOUNDHER, for a $10 off discount for any ticket option. 1-day ticket, 2-day ticket, virtual 2-day ticket, virtual 1-day ticket. You decide your adventure with FinFounder. Just use the code and learn something fabulous. I'm going to stop blabbering. Give the episode a listen. This was by far one of my favorites. I feel like I say that every time, but I love what we do. Enjoy. Welcome to the Sugar and Spikes podcast, a show for everyone trying to navigate business and life without losing their minds. I'm Dez, a coach and consultant who is entirely overeducated, habitually overdressed, and obnoxiously honest.
And I'm Tammy. I'm a psychologist. Was I supposed to say more?
You know what? Enough said. We talk about mindset, mental health, and making it all work in the big, bad business world.
One quick note. We may be mental health professionals, but we're not your mental health professionals.
So, enjoy the show! All right, we're back.
Yay!
Another week, another episode. This one I'm actually really excited about. Because Tammy and I were doing the dance that we always do every week of what are we going to talk about? I keep saying that's going to change, but consistency is key.
Right?
Seems to be working.
Yep.
God, I don't know why I'm out of breath. I've been chasing my dog around for like the last 20 minutes. So if I'm
okay.
like,
Take a minute.
If I'm panting, okay. So this week we're doing we're gonna have some fun with it.
Well, first of all, she had asked me, I think yesterday, to like make a list, right? Make a list?
Yeah.
No?
Well, we were trying to come up with what to talk about, and we saw something that like piqued our curiosity.
Yeah.
And it was a listicle, right? Like
Yeah.
it was like 9 things or whatever that everyone rich does.
So then you're like, make a list.
I'm like, ooh,
oh.
we should see how much we actually know.
I know. So I made my list.
And I made mine. And we haven't read the listicle.
Nope.
That's going to be a part of this episode.
Because you didn't even tell me which one it was.
Yeah. I was like, think of 9 things that like you think wealthy people do.
Okay.
Successful. Well, no, like I told you that the list title was 9 success habits of wealthy people that cost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the framework that we were like, let's see if we know these things.
Right. Okay.
And we haven't read the list yet. Like we haven't read it. It's an entrepreneur article. We haven't looked at it yet. We're going to be critiquing it. And doing our general color commentary about it after we go through our list, and we're going to see who is closer to what entrepreneur says.
Okay.
Does that make sense, guys? It's a little bit of fun, a little something different.
Yeah.
And, you know, anytime you can poke fun of the internet, it's a good day.
Everybody needs fun in their lives.
All right, so you are ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I have it up. Here it is. Number 1. Do you want my number 1 first?
Yeah, go through all of your 9.
Okay. My first one was wake up early.
Mm-hmm.
2 was don't take no for an answer. 3 was never stop learning. So staying up on like market trends and industry and all of that. 4 was stay organized and deliberate about actions. 5 was invest in self. So like exercise or other things like that. 6, set big but realistic goals. 7, keep at it despite setbacks. 8, create a strong network of competent people and listen to them, which can include therapists, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 9 was know when to accept that something isn't working and move on.
Nice. Our lists are very different except for number 1.
Really?
Which is exactly the same.
I feel like every list it always says, they wake up early. I'm like, okay.
Want to lose 20 pounds? Wake up early. Want $1 million? Wake up early. Want to wake up early? Wake up early. Like, it's the answer for everything.
Right.
Okay, so mine was wake up early. And then I said exercise.
Oh, I have
Delegate. That. Oh, yeah.
Invest in self.
Yours are much more, like, poetic than mine are. Mine are, like, they do this, this, and this.
Mine is therapist-y, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm working on using minimal words, which is really doing me in for the book.
And, you know, mine is just, like, never mind. Anyway, go ahead. Okay.
Flowery. Put a positive spin on it.
Room for interpretation, right? You're like, they exercise. I'm like, they invest in self.
Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Right.
Delegate.
Okay.
Read.
Oh, I have that.
Oh, you know what?
Education.
I clearly did not look over my list because I have workout as on top of exercise. So damn it.
So you only have 8.
Yeah, I only have 8.
No attention to detail, Des.
I know.
I would say
critical flaw.
Actually, we do have very similar lists. You said read. I said never stop learning.
Yeah, and I have listened to podcasts or audiobooks as my next one. Disconnect. Avoid time sucks like TV.
Oh, okay.
Know and make time for priorities. And I guess since I am down one,
well, I had stay organized and deliberate in your actions.
Yeah, I was thinking.
That's like prioritize.
Yeah, I was thinking like family stuff and things like that. Like,
yeah, that's not on my list.
You know, priorities or happy hour as my priorities, maybe.
Right.
God, I can't think of a 9th one off the bat. Something. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Express themselves.
How about attention to detail?
That's not something that you can do. It's something you can cultivate, but it's not something you can do. I cannot attention to detail. As evidenced by.
I feel like our lists are really similar.
They are.
I know you said that they're not, but I don't agree. Yeah. I think they're pretty fucking the same.
I'll say create. That'll replace either exercise or workout. So that'll be my 9th.
Oh,
I would hypothesize that wealthy individuals consistently are putting things out there, not in terms of like monetization,
yeah.
but they create something to either find some sense of fulfillment, to express themselves, like something like that.
Mm.
Because if you think about it in terms of like the hierarchy of needs, if everything is done, then you're really looking for that self-actualization piece.
Yeah. True. Or
So,
self-esteem kind
yeah.
of needs. Yeah. That's true.
So that'll be my 9th one.
Okay.
Okay, now the real test is finding out. Let me
What they
replace
said.
workout. We should put these in the notes.
Oh, we totally should.
Hold on.
You notice mine aren't specific things, but more categories.
Yeah.
And yours are like they read. I'm like, oh, they stay educated.
Yeah. Which just it speaks so much to what we do.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yep. I was thinking that.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, of course. This is what happened.
And in my line of work, it's like, has to be actionable.
And I'm like, tell me what that means to you.
Yeah.
How do you make sense of that experience? Yes. Okay.
Okay, so
Not going to share all my tricks. Okay.
next thing you know, you're going to have people thinking they're therapists. Wait, that's already happened.
I know.
Damn it.
I know.
Okay. To the entrepreneur article.
Okay.
No shock there.
What's
the
number one?
first one is they wake up early, like quite literally word for word.
I've seen it on a million lists.
Let's see. It's because it's like it's the go-to answer for everything, which is just awful because we all know, like, if you follow me on Instagram, I am rarely like productive before 9:45 because I have to like quote unquote clock in around like 10.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, all right,
Well,
let's
maybe early
throw
is
out of bed.
relative, but I kind of get the idea that early means like 6 o'clock, and I'm not getting up at 6 o'clock.
I mean, my question is for all of these waking up early pieces, what time are you going to bed?
Yeah.
Because I'm not in bed until like 2 or 3.
Right.
You know, so around that, like, that's 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah. But that goes into my number 5, which is invest in self.
Let's see. One of the reasonings that entrepreneur cites for like the positive piece of this is because early risers are able to start their days ahead of everyone else by responding to others, exercising, and finding personal time. Early risers tend to be happier and more proactive.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can truly flip that to being more productive and stuff in the middle of the night, and you could get the same result.
Oh, I just heard, well, that's a correlation, not causation.
Yeah. Like,
I can't turn off my grad school brain.
But I mean,
like, they're correlated, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that waking up early causes people to be more productive. They're correlated. We don't know.
Yeah. I would agree. And
Sorry.
like,
I took it to a whole nother place.
Well, I think what it's getting at is people, like, the success piece is people find the extra time.
Yeah.
Like, it's either waking up, like, that's what they're saying, waking up, because apparently, like, staying up until 3 a.m. isn't trendy right now.
It'll come back around.
It'll come back.
Everything does.
College kids know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, because I used to do the wake up early thing until I didn't have to, but I would do the same thing. I will say that the things that I would do when I woke up early are the same things that I do for the most part, like later in the evening.
Okay.
So
you flip flop then.
yeah, back in the day, I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I would work out first thing.
Okay.
Now, I work out around like 8 o'clock at night, which isn't super late, but I work out and then I have dinner at like 10 and then I'm still up. You know, like it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was also thinking that like maybe waking up early gives the perception of having a jump on everyone else and makes you feel more productive because you've been awake for an hour before everyone else gets up.
Oh, 100%.
So it's just more like changing your perception of what's happening more than changing what's actually happening.
It's 100% a mind game, at least for me when I was doing it, because I think you may even remember the phase where if I woke up like after 7, I was like the biggest bitch because I woke up late and didn't get a start to my day and all of these things, and it really annoyed everybody that had to deal with me. But that was all just a story I was telling myself.
I mean, it's not like perception isn't reality. It shapes our reality, but I'm just saying, like, it may not be that people are actually more productive. They just perceive themselves as being more. Anyway, whatever. I'm splitting hairs at this point, but
Okay. So waking
number
up
one
early.
is wake up early. All of us agree.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we all agree that that's what a lot of people say. I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, that'll be our check-in thing. Do we think it's necessary for success?
No, I think you can
No.
find other ways to
Find more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Number 2, they meditate.
Okay.
I will admit I did not see that one coming.
Me either. I mean, I do have invest in self. I guess that could be an invest in self.
Yeah, let me pull up my list again.
I said can include therapy. I mean, meditative practice is mental health.
You know, I said disconnect. I would put meditate and disconnect a bit together, even though meditating is about mindfulness, but like stepping back from like the phone and the computer and all that stuff and just like being with yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a bit of I'm going to star the ones that like
I'm surprised by that. Like every single successful person has a meditative practice.
Let's see.
I don't know.
Well, according to this, Oprah, Rupert Murdoch, Russell Simmons, Ariana Huffington, Bill Ford, and someone that I don't know have all attributed meditation as a huge component to their success.
So, yeah, okay.
Taking care of your body and mind by relaxing, exercising, healthy eating, and getting enough sleep are all ways to improve your chances of success. Well,
that's my number 5.
Sometimes the internet puts things out where I'm just like, thanks for mansplaining it. Okay, but yeah, meditation.
Okay.
I'm pleasantly surprised. And yeah, it ties into the whole thing that we hear all the time of you're not just on.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be consistently on.
Yeah. Invest in self.
So
I still maintain that that's on my list.
Would you say it's necessary for success?
Meditation? Maybe not meditation specifically, but I think the idea behind it, probably so. So like investing in your well-being, your mental, emotional, and physical health, I think has a huge part in being able to be successful.
Well, and also, I'm going to take this way to left field. Okay. But meditation doesn't, I will propose that it does not have to be what we think of as meditation. I think if we think of it in terms of mindfulness and stuff,
not just like Om.
Yeah. Then it can be something completely different. Just because it always goes back to cocktails with me. I was making martini last night, as you do. And there was something that was just so meditative about it in terms of like measuring stuff out and like shaking, and it felt ritualistic
and really deliberate, right?
Yeah, and very deliberate, and like I'm sure it connects with the fact that I've been more intentional with like when I drink and what I drink and all of that stuff, so I was already in that space. But really, even before I had like my first sip of it, when I sat down, I felt like I had meditated. Like I posted on Instagram, I was like, fun fact, mindfulness can be like whatever you want it to be. And I was just like kind of in awe of the experience that I had had.
I think that's a great point.
So it just something that takes you into the moment and blocks out everything else that you're worried about.
Right. It kind of reminds me of like skill-based things that like therapists teach clients.
Yeah.
And one of them is like taking effective action and figuring out like what that is. And so learning how to do that in small ways and big ways is kind of very like mindful, meditative, kind of deliberate kind of thing.
So I will say meditation as in Om I wouldn't necessarily say that that's required for success, but learning mindfulness skills, I would vote that as necessary.
Yeah,
What
me
about you?
too.
Yep.
Same.
Okay. All right. Number 3. Oh, they network.
Oh, I have that.
You do?
Yep, number 8.
What did you say?
Create a strong network of competent people and listen to them.
I'm clearly an introverted only child. Everything I have on my
Says
list
the
is...
person who always tries to drag me to networking things.
I'm very self-involved. But I think that's interesting because my list like speaks to this idea of like everything is self-contained.
Mm.
Um,
And mine's more relational.
yeah, exactly. Huh, imagine that.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see what we can glean from this. Research has found that networking can lead to people performing at work and increase the chance of landing a job, help successful be more innovative. I agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, I am a little like, damn it, I can't believe like that's my blind spot. But
I can't believe I had it on my list and you didn't have it on
I
yours.
know.
I'm shocked by that. I'm shocked by that.
Shocked. Shocked and in awe.
I know. Maybe something you've tried to like have me learn. Finally made it through.
Apparently, I gave it to you. People, God. Okay.
I think you have to have a network. We have talked many times. Like, no one's an island.
Yeah.
Even if you're in business for yourself, there's
You
still
have to
people
have-
that you're connected to that help you and all of that. So I think without a strong network, whether that be like people, like personal people around you or business related people around you or people that work for you or whatever, you have to have those because you get that diversity of perspective that you can't have on your own.
And for as much as it was my blind spot in this list, I will say continuing to expand it and like meeting new people. Like it's not just having a network, it's expanding your network because the really cool like innovations that I've seen and stuff all come from the unexpected connections. Like where you're at a mixer and you don't think you have that much in common, but then you like connect on a human level. And then the next thing you know,
Magic.
some brilliant business thing has developed.
Right. Synergy.
Exactly. So, yeah. Although it was not on my list, I would say that it's definitely essential for success.
I feel like I'm winning.
Yes.
I'm totally winning.
You're 100% winning. Are you keeping tabs of the ones that are on your list?
They're all on my list so far.
Let's see.
Except meditate. I said invest in self. I feel like that's the same. But I could just be like trying with that one.
No, it's good. Okay, well, I'm keeping track and we will see who.
Okay.
Okay, so network, we all agree. Key.
Yep.
They keep themselves busy. I don't think either of us had that.
Nope.
Well, okay.
I said stay organized and deliberate.
I was going to say it kind of depends because creating, reading, exercising are all things to stay busy.
What do they mean by stay busy?
Before I read that, the other thing I was going to say was no, make time for priorities. I could say that I would say that that's the closely related one. Okay, they say successful people are rarely idle. Achievers
except when they're meditating, except when they're never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
They quote the whole thing about Elon Musk working 80 to 100 hours per week. That's the type of work ethic an entrepreneur needs to have. Okay, but we see it, right? Like, I don't think Elon Musk's quote really bothers me, but I will say, and we've touched on this a bit on the podcast, is having diversified interest and productivity elements. Like, having additional projects and stuff going on.
Yeah. And we've also talked about how you need balance, and
Mhm.
that if you continually work 100 hours and however
Mhm.
long, you're going to end up burning yourself out. So there has to be some kind of balance, and that's the invest in self piece,
Yeah, well,
right?
I think that there's synergy, and I think like if you lay it out in terms of a schedule, if you're going, meditating, working out, those pieces, let's be really generous, say that's 3 hours of your day, you still have a lot more to fill your time versus, oh yeah, the thing that probably connects more closely, is I had avoid time sucks like
Oh,
TV.
okay.
Like, I think keeping yourself busy essentially boils down to being mindful of what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah, because you can't just be busy doing nothing, or
Yeah,
like mindless projects, or like
exactly.
busy work, quote unquote,
Mhm.
right? So like these build on each other. I feel
Yeah.
like no one by itself is really like, you can't just be busy all the time.
Well, you can't just, I think that's the
You
thing.
can't just meditate and like, oh, I
Yeah.
have $1
Oh, suddenly
million.
I'm so successful.
Which is my whole problem with like people who do all their work on mindset.
Mhm.
Because,
Well, everything is so connected.
yeah.
Um,
So like taking away one, like yes, mindset is essential
mhm.
and not sufficient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So what I hear in this list is like they work on mindset, they
Mhm.
work on balance, they stay busy, they
Mhm.
stay educated. I don't know if we've gotten to that part. I had education on mine.
We
But
haven't
like,
gotten there yet.
so
I don't
like
know if we will.
so like they have this diversified way
Mhm.
of balancing and using their time
Mhm.
to accomplish all
Yeah.
these things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like this is another example of the internet just telling us common sense. But,
Okay.
what else would the internet be for?
Right?
Okay, so we agree. Keep it well. So we all had it in a way on our list.
I'm sure there are listeners who are saying, you did not have that on your
That's
list.
wrong.
That's okay.
I don't even know. I'm gonna mark that down as like avoiding time sucks because I'm really good at spinning.
Okay. What was mine? Stay organized and deliberate.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep at it despite setbacks.
But you were getting at something different with that one.
Yeah, no, I was.
Yeah. Okay. But yes, I think it's necessary to be successful. Like clearly you can't just
You can't just sit on your butt.
yeah, you can't dream success.
Right.
Oh shit. Yeah, this one. Okay. I think I may have to remove one of my things. They don't watch TV, they read. That messes with so many of the ones that I wrote down. Because I have like read, listen to audiobooks, don't watch TV is 3.
I have never stopped learning.
Yeah.
I think that counts.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do. I think our scorecard
Is even.
may just be going away at some point. Because literally that accounts for 3 things that I had.
Okay. I mean, okay. So,
what it says is, Thomas Corley, author of Rich Habits, The Daily Success Habits of Wealthy Individuals, says 67% of rich people only watch TV for 1 hour or less per day.
okay, so it's not that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's not none.
I'm never going to be rich. Corley also found only 6% of wealthy watch reality shows.
Or admit to it.
Fair.
Right?
We all have those dirty little secrets. 86% of wealthy love to read, with an impressive 88% claiming that they read for self-improvements for 30 minutes or more per day.
I love that they write claim for the reading, but they said they don't watch TV or reality TV. Like, they claim. They're all claiming this. It's all self-report.
Yeah, which is the worst kind of reporting.
I know. Not
the worst.
Not objective at all.
So,
anyway.
I mean, it was...
I can see it, but that goes back to, like, not having time sucks, right? Like, you're using that downtime to invest in learning, to invest in knowing more, to invest in broadening your point of view, right?
So, I'm going to go on defensive TV for, like, 60 seconds really quick.
Okay.
I think that for the longest time, we were in a really dark age of television where it was all mindless crap.
Okay.
And with a lot of reality shows, it still is mindless crap, and we all know what we use it for.
Right.
But with streaming and the influx of independent shows coming out, like I think all of the Hulu originals, the
Oh,
Netflix
yeah.
originals, we've really gotten back to media that says something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you can write it off as easily because it is thought provoking.
Yeah.
There is an element of inspiration. There's commentary.
Well, it brought art back to the form, right?
Yeah, and I don't think it, like, watching TV, quote unquote, deserves as much of a bad rep as it has,
Yeah.
depending on what you're watching. Like, it goes back to the whole all or nothing, one category and that's it type of thing.
Right.
You know? Yeah, that's just my side tangent. I think that there are a lot of things that serve as entertainment now, but are still on the level as either art or books. And there are trashy books too.
Oh,
and
sure.
just books
I was
that are
just
terrible.
thinking that. I'm like, so they read. What are they reading?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And even if they are saying, oh, I read for self-improvement, we've all read, like, brain killer self-improvement
right.
books.
I know.
So
it's not about what you're doing. It's about
the quality.
the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how you respond to it
Right.
and what you're looking to get out of it.
Yeah.
Do you need to zone out? Cool. Are you looking to better yourself in any way?
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think we say that no, not watching TV is not, like, that's a lot of negatives that I used.
And the other thing is,
Mhm.
it doesn't even say in there that they don't.
Yeah.
It just says
It's
they
just
don't
reduced.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's just very reduced.
Yeah. So
They can't
no.
see my they can't see the face and thing that I'm doing. But you can see it. You know what I mean.
Mhm. Wait. I should do that again and then I will put it on. I don't have my phone.
I'm not gonna do that.
You're lucky. Okay, so this is not necessary
No.
to being successful.
Nope.
Just not.
I say no.
No, I reject you. Reject the null.
Right.
They know when to say no.
Yeah.
And it's pretty self-explanatory. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Quote attributed to one Mr. Warren Buffett.
Yep.
There's not much that needs to be said. But the thing is, okay, we can deep dive a little bit in this one.
All right.
Especially for entrepreneurs. And considering that a couple pages ago, they were just saying that successful people are busy all the time,
Right.
but also you're supposed to say no to stuff.
You got to find that healthy balance. Healthy balance. We're going to come away from this list going, find balance.
But we'll never say find balance. We're going to say it depends what's going on at the time.
I know. Because everything depends.
Where are you in life right now? Because, yeah, I mean, okay, so on my list I had no and make time for a priority. So it was essentially what I was getting at. But, and you had something, right?
I had don't take no for an answer.
So no, you didn't.
So persist despite setbacks. And I also had know when to accept that something isn't working and move on.
But not just saying I don't have time for it.
Yeah, no.
I think.
But I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with, like, knowing where your boundaries are and sticking to them. For me, like, saying no to things is all about being assertive and not feeling, like, pushed or pulled into doing something for some reason that isn't sound, right?
Yeah.
And isn't well thought out or thought through. So I agree.
Yeah.
You have to know how to assert your point of view and hold your position when you're being pressured to do stuff.
Like, well, knowing your position and knowing your strengths. Like, I think you and I have both had these situations in work where there's something that's kind of asked of us, it's not our area of expertise, and instead of saying sure and then kind of half-assing it or making it murky, we say, actually, I think there's someone better suited.
Right.
Like, there's someone that would be so much better at this than I am
Yeah.
with the tools I have right now.
Right.
I I'm gonna say I think that's what they were getting at with this one.
I think I like the spirit of it more than just the be able to say no.
Yeah.
Like, but that has so much more of a deeper meaning to me, like what I'm what I'm hearing. But seriously, I think it's important. I kind of hear it as like knowing your limits, knowing your strengths, knowing what you're good at, not being like guilted or pushed into things despite your better judgment,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things, right?
This talks about saying, if you say yes to everyone or everything, you'll be too distracted and not accomplish tasks that have to be done.
And burnt out too.
And burnt out. And I think it goes back to something that we've talked about a lot recently, specifically around even like my focus on focus this year.
Right.
But doing something and doing it well and shutting out the other noise.
Yeah.
Like, I think about it in terms of projects we're working on with Sugar and Spikes and everything. Like, we can go a million different ways and do a lot of different things, but we've been very intentional and said no to a lot of opportunities.
That's true.
To focus on two very specific things.
Right.
So,
agreed.
yeah.
In spirit.
And we're still staying busy. So I think that it's the integration. It's finding out how all of these kind of play off of each other again for where you are in your situation.
Yeah.
I would say that knowing yourself, knowing your limits, knowing your expertise, knowing all those things so you can say no is essential to success. Because
absolutely,
like, then it lets it be open to something that's so much better. You know? Especially for entrepreneurs and stuff. Like, if it's not your zone of genius, bring someone else in and they're gonna make you look really good.
I know, right?
So
Yeah.
I mean, win-win.
I know. Win. Win-win. No,
Win,
just
win,
kidding.
win, win, win. Okay. Next one. They write to-do lists the night before.
That's what you do.
I do it every morning.
Well, okay.
But so I've read about why the night before is better.
Why the night before is better? Why?
I'm gonna see if
how come.
I'm going to see if Entrepreneur this one says so that they are able to set priorities for the following day. I read it one time in terms of it kind of connects to the not decision paralysis, but this idea that you only have so much mental energy in one day to make decisions and stuff, which is why like Zuckerberg and everyone wears like the same clothes. The tasks list also fall into the idea of deciding what you're spending your time on.
Okay.
So doing it the night before, you wake up and you know what's happening and you have an idea of what your day looks like. So you save the times I've done it, like, it does feel like you save a lot of like cognitive energy.
Okay. Maybe that's why they can wake up early and be so much more productive.
So when I was like juggling 20-hour days last year, that was because I knew like I had to get up because I had to do X, Y, and Z before something else happened. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, it kind of incorporates a lot of the things that were earlier on the list, right? Like staying busy, taking deliberate action. Maybe you've done your meditative practice and you figured out what you want your priorities to be for the next day. And you're in good space to think about it. And you know you have to get up and get going. So you do it the night before. I could totally see that being like a good
really
routine.
beneficial. Yeah. Neither of us had it on our list.
I didn't have it on my list. Not even a little bit.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it is necessary to be successful, but I highly support the practice. And I could see a lot of benefit to it.
I see a lot of benefit from it too. I also think like to my day job, if you will, like my list never stops, but my day is pretty much the same.
Your day's pretty much the same, but you know, like, here are the things that have to get done. You know? Also, I love a good checklist. Like, I
Right.
like writing it out, and there's all the research about, like, checking stuff off is beneficial.
Total side tangent. Every time I do a check mark, people are like, you do them backwards. I'm like, no, I don't.
You're left-handed.
I'm left-handed. They're like, so? It still goes the other way. And I'm like, no.
No, you're just wrong. Do you tell them that?
Yes.
Good.
Just a side note, because all the time, oh, you do those backwards. No, I don't.
So
if I was going to do it the other way, I'd have to put my hand like
Oh,
over and go like
yeah.
that.
God,
So it makes way more sense
no.
to go like
Yeah.
that, right?
I will say, I've seen many of your check marks, and I never thought they looked weird. It
You're
never
like the
occurred to
only
me.
one.
Never occurred to me.
My supervisor at work saw me check something off, and she's like,
What are you doing?
you're doing those wrong.
Fucking doctorate can't do check marks.
Nope, I'm going to have to do X's.
Back to kindergarten with you. Go on. That's really funny.
Sorry, moving on.
Not essential. Knowing how to do check marks, not essential for success, so you're still good. All right, next one. They manage their money.
Duh.
Like, yeah. Know what's going on with your money.
I think all of us know what's going on with our money. We just have a lot less of it.
Mm-hmm. I am totally guilty of being the burying my head in the sand for stuff, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're on the lower side of things, sometimes you got to make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg isn't making sacrifices.
Exactly. Successful people have gotten where they are because they're able to manage their finances well, investing smartly.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Know what's going on with your spending.
Okay. Like, I see that.
Cool. Thanks, entrepreneur.
Moving on. I see that as the least, like, really, seriously.
It's up there with waking up early.
I was just going to say. You can just say, we didn't add these because everybody adds them. And here's another 9 more creative, thoughtful things.
All right.
Manage
The
your money.
next one.
Okay.
Friggin' A.
Okay.
The next one. They set goals and visualize.
Oh. Set big but realistic goals.
I like it. I guess I thought it was assumed. I didn't say anything about having goals. Which is funny because I think out of most people I know, I'm the one that like is most like goal oriented.
I'm like, but we're goal-oriented gals. So maybe, just maybe, it went without saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's like an inherent, of course you have goals.
Yeah.
We
Well,
don't need to put this on a list.
Yeah, it would be assumed,
That you have goals.
especially if we're talking about people who are already successful.
So what I was thinking of is when we talked about people underestimate what they can do in a year and what they can do in 5.
Yeah.
That came to my mind. And of course, he's super fucking successful.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that.
Yeah.
So I said, set big but realistic goals.
Mm-hmm.
Although it should say set big and realistic goals.
It works. Yeah, I mean, I would say that it is essential. It is essential.
Otherwise,
I know how to pronounce words.
all your busyness isn't going towards anything.
Yeah, like okay, well, let's pick apart this visualization piece though.
Oh, visualization. What if you're not a visual person? What if you're not a visual learner?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But like I don't there are multiple ways that could be interpreted, right?
Sure.
Like the close your eyes, meditate, and picture success could be one way. Tammy's shaking her head violently no. Or it also could connect to the whole waspy McWasp vision boards.
Oh, yes.
As I gesture to
Toward
mine.
your vision board. We really should have made this a video episode.
Yeah. I've been thinking that, so I've been talking, complete side tangent.
Okay.
I've been talking with some folks who also do content a lot, and they've been telling me that YouTube is a fabulous place to put stuff. And I was thinking, like, while we record, just putting up like just a phone or something and recording. Or someone else was like, just put your audio file up with like a slide of your logo and call it good. But I do like the visual piece because we are very animated.
I know. I'm thinking no one can see what's going on in this room.
I know.
So many things.
Sugar and Spikes TV.
It just adds to our magic.
Yeah. Patent pending. Not that that's new or unique. We may be doing that like once a month. That could actually be really cool.
Yeah. I'd have to get over my social anxiety.
It would be with me.
I know, but it's got a camera. It's just a thing. Like, it's a
Yeah.
thing for me. You know this.
Yeah. Exposure therapy.
I
You
know.
know it's the best.
I know.
Flooding. I'm just going to lie.
Flooding actually works the best.
We're going to live stream in front of 10,000 people.
And you're going to flood me. That's going to be awesome.
Perfect.
I'm just going to sit here like with a deer in the headlights look, and you're just going to be
A lot of vodka. Although, this is a really, really big side tangent, and this episode's getting long, but I was listening to another podcast, and if you guys want a new podcast recommendation, Diet Starts Tomorrow it's put out by Betches Media, who I'm kind of becoming obsessed with, and they're becoming like goals for so many pieces of my life. Like, they're very inspiring for a lot of elements, but
they're next on my list. I'm in the last 2 episodes of campaign 1.
Nice.
I'm so close.
So close.
So I have to finish that. But then on to this.
But there was one episode that was talking about is sugar or alcohol worse for me? Kind of that, like...
Oh, I love that.
And there was a doctor on there who was talking about how when you use alcohol, like when you drink, it, he put it in such a way where I'd never thought about it quite like that before. Like, we all know, like, we use alcohol. If you drink, chances are you use it to, like, chill out and relax and everything. But whatever you use it for, it weakens your muscle memory, essentially, because your brain is a muscle.
Oh.
And then that's one reason why it becomes harder to do the things without.
Well, state-dependent learning,
Yeah,
right?
and habituation, all of those other things. But I was just like, that's so interesting, because I think back to our very first season with the podcast, where we totally, like, we were so nervous.
So nervous.
We had to have like a couple drinks beforehand, and now it's just like, all right, let's just do it.
We're doing this.
But yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah.
It made me kind of reevaluate, not my thoughts on alcohol, but just, he also talked about like how bars and everything are so loud that it sets off your stress response.
Oh.
And drinking inhibits your stress response. So the idea of like going out to bars to relax and everything, long term makes it harder just in general to relax, because you're always at like this heightened state.
Yeah. And your body can't stay there. It gets exhausted.
Yeah. So it was quite fascinating.
Oh, I'm definitely adding that podcast to my list.
And then the one other thing that he mentioned, where I'm just going to toss out there, which is not super related to anything, but this idea of like, oh, well, alcohol's a poison, blah, blah, I'm not going to poison my body, all that shit. Best quote ever, and I've read about it for Vax, but also like in terms of alcohol, the poison is in the dose. Like, anything is poisonous if there's too much or too little of it.
Yeah.
So, same thing with
true story
goals and visualizing. It's poisonous for your business and emotional health if there's too much or too little of it.
And also, I'm sorry, if you're not a visual person, no amount of visualization in the world is going to help you.
Well, and like, you don't know what things could be. So I was actually thinking about this the other day, where I was doing a course maybe 2 years ago or so at this point, where they were like think about what your perfect day at work and all these things would look like down to the detail, like what you would do at this time and all these things.
Okay.
And really plan it out, and like what clothes are you wearing and all these things. And anyways, it was an exercise in patience for me, but
You
I
must have seen my face as you're
Yeah.
describing that. That sounds horrible.
it was really terrible.
Oh.
But there were so many people out were like, oh yeah, and that like 6 months later they were like, oh, I did this and I realized that it was exactly what I wrote down and stuff, and I was just like, this is bullshit. Because that's me in the corner wherever I am. Bullshit.
Always the one standing
Yep.
in the back.
Yeah. But then I realized that I'm in this place in my life where I have everything I wanted, and it looks completely different than what I thought it would be.
Sure.
And if I had been so hung up on visualizing what the perfect thing is, I would be so distraught and like, but it's not that
Yeah.
to appreciate. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, I think you do. It's like you get stuck on this idea, stuck to it. And so then you can't really think in flexible ways.
Yeah.
But that goes back to like, so then would you even recognize success if you achieved it because it didn't look like this?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what you're saying is you're like, I have achieved the level of success that I wanted to and I had thought about for a really long time, and it looked different than what I thought it would.
Yeah.
Right? So like, yeah. And I think you have to have that kind of flexible thinking because when you get into thinking about things in one way, it just becomes much more difficult if it doesn't line up with that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why diversity of perspective is so important. So you're not stuck like that with blinders on. And I think that visualization exercise, although it may be great for people who maybe aren't detail oriented, maybe to make them think more deeply and thoughtfully about things, I could see it also putting blinders on the person and just going down a road. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I will say, like, I mentioned the vision board that I have in my office, and I'll put a picture on the Instagrams, at Sugar and Spikes Pod, if anyone wants to follow along. But my vision board actually is like, it's more of like a feeling and attitude versus goals.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have like, this is what my dream house is and this is what my dream bag is and all of these things, like, but it's very much like hashtag vibes.
No, because it's totally you. Like, I get you from that.
Thank you.
I do.
So yeah.
And there's not a picture of you on there.
Exactly.
So, but I could look at that. Like, if we put, because I have a vision board too, if we put ours side by side, I think you would know whose was whose.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if we asked random people who knew us, like, which one do you think is hers and which one do you think is mine? I bet you could get it right.
We should
like
put
90%
that
of the time.
on the Insta story.
Okay.
When this goes out, or yeah, I mean, Insta story's only 24 hours. Anyways, we'll put it on the interwebs. And we'll note it on Instagram, but we'll do a survey of who do you think's whose is whose. I can talk. This is a very long episode. We may split it up.
Okay.
We still have
more to go.
I don't know how many more there are. Okay, that was it.
Okay.
Okay.
We're done?
Ah.
It's like when they go, it just reminds me of being in class and you pull up something and it starts and you're like, shit, they know.
Yeah.
Then you have to pay attention the whole time because they know you weren't paying attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we didn't score our stuff.
Oh.
Let's see. So using the system that I was using with, because so many were so different.
Yeah.
I was at 8 out of 9.
You had 8 out of 9?
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I had 7. Because there was one neither of us had.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where I think you had a version of it and I didn't.
So I'll go through. I marked off wake up early.
Yep.
Delegate.
Yep.
Read.
Yep.
Create.
Yep.
Podcast or audiobooks. Listen to podcasts or audiobooks.
Oh, I
So-
don't have that. I just
Well-
have it as keep learning.
Well, I marked down both read and the audiobooks one when it was like, don't watch TV, read.
Oh, okay. So I have 4 and you have 5 right now.
And then disconnect.
Yep.
Avoid time sucks like TV.
Yep.
I think it was the TV and reading one counted for 3 for me.
Oh, okay.
And then know and make time for priorities.
So 7. I had
Mhm.
7.
So
You win.
I will be more successful than you.
We know this is true. No one's surprised, Dez.
No, it's all relative.
I have academic success.
Mm-hmm.
As do you. Just people are going to be like, you mean she doesn't? No, I didn't say that.
She has more than me.
A little.
Okay. Well, this episode went on for entirely too long.
That's just because we can't stay on topic.
But it was fun.
I know. I had a good time.
Yeah. It's always the best when I think when they go long it's a good sign.
Yep. And remember, don't make your check marks go the wrong way.
Be bold. Make your check marks however you want to make your check marks. I do stars.
Oh, I like stars.
Most of the time I do stars because I just think that they're fun.
Nice. Are they gold?
Well, it depends.
Do you have a color coding system?
It's a really long answer.
Oh my gosh. So yes. Yes, she does.
Yes, and
Yes.
it changes every day because I don't like using the same color because I date stuff in my journal,
Oh,
but
yeah.
also changing colors like each day helps me quickly know
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
so yeah, I have a theoretical system. Like I always need 3 or 4 colors each day.
Okay.
I carry a bag of 30 pens around me
You
around
need the kind
house.
that you just click around the top.
But those are just basic ink pens and not fun.
They're not the
use-
glittery gel pens.
No, I use they're like a Bic brand, felt tip. But
Oh.
they're not markers.
We digress.
So we digress.
Gold stars and check marks.
Yes.
Just remember that.
I use a gold Sharpie for my headings most of the
Well,
time.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's a new month or something. Yeah. Okay, well, now that you guys know my pen system, we're going to let you go.
Bye, friends.
Bye. Hey guys, I'm back. We're gonna be doing this twice an episode throughout the month. So if you like this episode, if you liked another episode, if you like what we're doing, go to iTunes, leave a review. For that review, we're gonna give Project Semicolon $1. It's one way that we figure we can kind of help spread our message and support the larger mission of destigmatizing mental health and making sure people have access to the resources that they need. So head on over to iTunes, leave that review, and after you're done leaving a review on iTunes, don't forget to go to finfoundher.com, learn more about that great event, and use code all caps FinFoundHer, FINFOUNDHER for $10 off any ticket that's available. So 2-day, 1-day, in person, digital, it's up to you. Choose your fate. Have fun. And if you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, head on over to Facebook. There's the Sugar and Spikes podcast page. Or on Instagram. We do spend most of our time on Instagram, Tammy and I. So that would be Sugar and Spikes Pod. Or just find me, Dez WMS MBA, and then from there you can find the Sugar and Spikes info too. So easy to find. Leave us that review, and I will talk to you guys later.